Hey everyone, it's the Chaplain here coming to you with a little bit more of BBR Explained. This episode is for something that is very awesome, a great addition to Global Out of Box. The video on unit profiles is soon coming, but before we get to it, I wanted to do a video specifically on air transports, combat drops and non-combat drops. And so that when we do the unit profile videos, it will be very easy for you to just be like, oh, hey, yeah, I've already seen that. Great, wonderful. So on page 42 of your BBR rulebook, there's some information. There's also this beautiful graphic right there, transport plane, cargo plane, which I will instruct you on. It's also a card available in the BBR deck, card number 17, and then duplicated again later on down in the deck. So in the BBR, in an attempt to make the game more historically accurate, strategic bombers no longer throw dice on every round of combat. Long story short, it's just not accurate. You're not going to have a strategic bomber floating above the air, floating up in the air, just dropping bombs left and right, annihilating it. It's not going to happen. So in this version, in BBR, they get one round of combat. They're involved in the first round of combat, and then they dip. They're gone. They also don't throw a 4. While their bombs could be effective and do a lot of damage, they were often misses. And so they throw 2 dice at 2 or less. That is to say that it's more historically accurate now. You can hit 2 things. You can do a lot of damage. But your chances of doing that are lessened because they weren't the most accurate thing in the world. All of that to say, that kind of lessens their value. So in order to boost their value again, now we're allowing bombers, strategic bombers only, to be air transports. This is huge, a game changer. I have seen Italy buy bombers and infantry all day and just start throwing them around all over the place. So what we're going to do in this video is explain air transports to you. I might even give you a quick little demonstration of a situation where you would use them, etc., etc. So I'm just going to kind of read off the card a little bit. Bombers and heavy bombers, which is a strategic bomber after the tech, may be reclassified as a transport or cargo plane during the combat movement phase. They are then marked with a transport marker, which I don't have, I'm very sorry. To mark my to mark my transport planes, I just turn them upside down. They're marked with a transport marker after they end their movement. They remain in this with their new statistics until the repair units phase on the next turn. So during your turn, you do a combat drop or a non-combat drop to reinforce somewhere, and your cargo plane, transport plane, is now defenseless. It defends at a 0 when it is a transport plane. So until your next turn, it will be a 0. Then at that portion of your turn, at the repair units phase of your next turn, you can say, he's not a transport right now, I'm going to use him to bomb, or you can use him as a transport again. They still move 6, okay? And these are their, come on, focus. They attack and defend at nothing because they are transporting. So a strategic bomber off the bat can move 2 infantry. A cargo plane, so if you get the heavy bombers upgrade, a cargo plane can move 2 units as long as one of them is an infantry. So you can move artillery, you can move mechanized, you can use AAA, you can use tanks. It doesn't say AAA on here. Maybe I'm mistaken in the AAA portion. Someone will comment and correct me if that's wrong. But you can use a piece of equipment and an infantry to drop. So, strategic bombers are the only bombers. You can't use the tactical bombers or transport. You can't use the fighters or transport. The units being transported must originate in the territory that the bomber is. So let's zoom in. Take a look at Italy over here. The Italian bomber in northern Italy. There's an infantry and a tank up there. Let's say he's a heavy bomber. That was their tech for some reason. Italy chose to be goofy and do heavy bombers. Well, he can now, since they're all 3 in the same territory, he can pick them up and fly them 6 spaces as long as he can land safely. So 5 spaces to a zone to drop. And you would just pick them all up like you would a transport moving across the Atlantic. I have a transport. I'm going to transport them over here. Great, your transport can stay in the C zone, your bomber has to come back. So you pick them up, you move them. If you fly over the AAA rather, you have to throw AAA. You could lose your entire cargo, so be careful on that one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So when you go to drop them into a combat zone, okay, you have to be moving the equal amount or more of ground units into the same territory. So for example, I can't just combat drop guys in and that's it. I also have to send an attacking ground force. So let's take a look at this. My heavy bomber is going to pick up the infantry and the tank, and I'm going to fly 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to drop off a tank and this infantry. And this guy will have 2 moves left. Please be a 2. Nope, here's a 2. We'll put him here, and I put him upside down because I don't have a transport marker. And I'm also going to send this infantry and artillery. So I have 2 land units attacking and 2 airdropped units attacking. Perfectly capable of doing that. If I only had the artillery here, I could only drop 1 unit. You follow? If I had 4 planes transporting 8 units through the air, I would have to move 8 land units into that zone to make it work. We do the combat, we resolve it, whatever, then you land your plane. So on a non-combat drop, you can drop 2 units in a territory that you or an ally owned at the beginning of your turn. Here at the very bottom, the last sentence here. So let's say that Germany took El Alamein. Let's say that. Germany took El Alamein on their turn. I could non-combat drop those guys there just to reinforce it. Okay? It can do a lot of damage up here on the Russian front, especially if you're railing Italian units to the front. Okay, you can do a lot of damage over here. We also see this move done a lot over here. Sorry for the camera work. We also see this move a lot over here in the 1940 setup when Japan will para-drop into Yunnan with all their land units over. It's really a great move because it provides you with additional ground units, and you don't have to wait for the transport ship. You can just drop them. But like I said, you have to do it with the equal amount of land units. So right now on Japan, I'm looking at 1 strategic bomber. I'm going to designate him as an air transport. I'm going to pick up 2 infantry, and I'm going to fly them on my non-combat turn. I want to reinforce Borneo. Done. And I can land my plane there too because I own this territory at the start of my turn. So I don't have to fly off and land somewhere. But let's say, for example, that my bomber was in, where's my pen at? In the screen. There we go. Let's say my bomber was in Shan State, and I had 2 infantry there, and I want to fly them over to India, and then I have to land my plane. Well, when I fly over, I also should be transporting units over, so I need a water transport or land units from Burma or something. I can't just attack through the air. I'm also subject to AAA fire, so like I said, you can lose all those units. I love this addition to the game. I think it is a worthy addition. I think that without it, it really devalued the strategic bomber, even though it was more historically accurate. Please hear me when I say that. It is definitely more historically accurate to have it throw 2 at 2 than it is to have it throw 1 at 4 every round of combat. That's just ridiculous. So I do love this air transports. That's it for this video. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up. Share this with your friends. We're getting ready to host a tournament at the end of March, and people need to know what they're coming to play if they don't already know. I've had a couple people on some Facebook pages and via email, I've had them reach out to me just asking me more and more about the BBR, and so I've just been sending them to my videos and to Joe's videos. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm the chaplain. I'll be praying for you.